Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we have a special guest. We have Brad from BWA Detailing in Las Vegas.
How's it going, guys? My name is Brad, and you guys can find me across all socials at BWA Detailing. That's TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. I'm not on Twitter. I don't tweet, but I do help detailers in my spare time, and I full-time work on my business. That is what I do, and I love the community that I've chose to be a part of.
Nice. Well, thank you for being here, Brad. I know me and Sal are big fans, and overall with as far as business, sense of humor, lifestyle, choice of music, all of these things kind of gravitated, your page and your channel on Instagram towards us. And I was like, okay, I really like this guy's energy. I love what he's doing with his business. I love the fact that you're helping people. That's to me, I've noticed in the past since we started the YouTube channel, just the amount of outreach and the amount of impact that we're having on people is huge. It's a lot bigger than I thought it would be. And given that, there is a little sense of responsibility there. And I know a lot of guys will kind of disregard, maybe small questions that people ask, or even reaching out or doing things like this. So we greatly appreciate it. And we're trying to build a community as well within this detailing world where people are open to have conversations, whether it's about business, lifestyle, integration of the two, or if it's just about, topics or things that maybe we're not so successful, or things that are very successful, as strategy wise in decision making within the business itself and life choices. Our last interview that we did, it was the dopest detailer, and he was previously incarcerated, and flipped his life around and went on a completely different path, and now is in full control of everything. So that was great to hear. And we're big fans of you. So I want to know where all of this comes from. Where does all the positive energy, where does all this motivation, where does the energy, I'm assuming, how to take care of yourself very well to be able to maintain, because I know you got a lot on your plate.
I have a lot of credit to give to my other half, Jandel. She has guided me into more of the reason why I do a lot of the things that I do today. Once you and it's not really like just her, but it's the willingness on the other half as well, myself. Self-care when it comes down to like skincare, like oral care, hygiene. Like you just start there, and then like it trickles into everything else. You're like, man, well, I feel good here. Well, what if I feel better if I stretched out. I feel better if I got on a treadmill and did a mile walk. You know, like a lot of the self-care, when you start taking care of yourself and practicing self-care and self-love, you want to see everybody else the same way. You want to see everybody else just as happy. So the energy comes from me seeing other people benefit off of just me showing up. Like all I do is show up. I'll give the same advice. I tell people kind of the same thing a lot of the time, and it triggers people differently, and it gets them in a train of thought that puts them in that same position, and it carries them. But to answer your question, energy comes from the community, really. Like, and I didn't always have it. I had days. I had a lot of times where I was depressed. I was on antidepressants at one point. I was going to the veteran clinic, trying to talk to therapists and psychiatrists, anything to fix my mental health. So once I dove into self-care, like my mental health started naturally developing because I was doing things that made me happier, not things that were self-destructive. And we can all get caught up in self-destructive thoughts, patterns, habits. And a lot of the times, if you're 35 or older, 95% of your responses to your external environment are already habitually learned and in your program. You have to reprogram yourself. A lot of guys don't even know that they're programmed to do certain things based on the people that they surrounded themselves with, or who their guardians were when they were growing up, whether that's parental or external. A lot of those things do shape who we are, it shapes how we respond to our environment.
That's a hard thing to break. It's a very difficult
It is.
thing
No,
to break,
it's very difficult.
but it's like a revelation in a sense. Once you do break through it, you're
Mhm.
see what your full capabilities are. It literally opens up a whole new world.
Right.
Like you no longer have any kind of restrictions that, or these thoughts or ideas that were holding you back before. The fear tends to kind of dissipate,
Mhm.
development grows and as you grow. And it's I definitely understand the space you're in. And I started, into this career as a result of that. I was,
Right.
I was unhealthy. I was eating bad. I was drinking a lot. I was just, depressed. I was, and I met my fiance, and that kind of changed everything. I said, okay, I have something better now to live for. To not, it's not about this stuff anymore. It's about this.
Mhm.
The clarity of mind. It's about like being mentally stable, being happy, being healthy, like working and striving to get to my full potential. So
Right.
it just got to a point where it's like, okay, I have to make a change. And when I made that change, everything in my life,
We made a declaration.
changed. Yeah.
Declared it. Yeah. When
Yeah.
we declare, we demand things, and we really put that energy out there that we're gonna make it happen. That everything happens. Like it's literally just balance. You're
Yeah.
seeking balance. You're sick of being off balance.
Yeah. It's Sal has been, Sal left his job, he's, ex
Congrats on that.
been employed for 20 years, and he recently left to join me full time
That's dope.
about 6 months ago. And he was kind of in the same spot too, where he was just like, I need to do something. Like I have no fulfillment right now. I'm just living day to day, just kind of going through the same, like I want, naturally as a person, you want to overcome things, like for me, progression, and I get the most rewarding times out of life when, through achievement, so it's
Mhm.
constant, you know, search for things that I can overcome, constant search for things that I can improve on. Even this whole, social media thing, we've been, it's like I didn't know how to how to do any kind of editing or any of this stuff. It's like, okay,
Right.
if I want to have full control of my business, let me learn how to do this stuff. Let me teach myself. I'm totally capable of doing it. It's just whether or not I want to apply that energy there,
Right.
and once you do it, like you said, once you make that decision, like, hey, I'm gonna do it, it happens, it's only
Mhm.
gonna happen if you give up or you don't put that first foot forward. uh,
Right.
how do you feel your change in your lifestyle has has changed has kind of impacted your business?
Man.
And let me ask you this before.
Right.
Where did you go on this journey of self healing and self development during the time you started your business, after, or how did those kind of work out?
They've all been going at the same time. It's like you'll see when you're doing a lot of self-development, like you'll notice when your ego is showing up versus yourself. You'll be like, okay, why do I, maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I shouldn't say that. And then when you're questioning that, when you're having that conscious thought of like yes or no, like the answer. Now, where's that answer coming from? I personally think it's coming from your future self. Your future self is like that hug you felt when you were a kid and you were comforted, but you don't know who it was from. But when you're later on an adult, you have a thought remembering when you were a kid in a bad situation and you think of comforting that person. That was your current self thinking of your past self. But if you get in correlation, it's a lot of craziness. But um, uh, man, I really went off track on that one. I really do. No, like
Yes, sir. I do that all the time.
when it comes to like recognizing like traumas or past events, and you look on times where like you would have comforted someone in that position, you wouldn't want to put someone else in an uncomfortable position yourself. So consciously looking at any situation, just not creating any turmoil, creating community, um, can we get back to the question? Because I know I can keep talking on anything.
Yeah, no, it was how the business, where did it intersect? Or
There you go. There you go.
pretty
Okay.
much parallel. And then how is it having an effect on your business? You know, by you making positive choices, by you being in control of your mindset, as far as, okay, am I going to choose to let the ego come out, or am I going to do something negative? Or, you know, obviously it takes more work to go on the positive side.
Always
Am I going to really practice what I preach in?
always choose the higher self decision.
Yeah.
Your higher self is going to take you to where you want to be, not to where you think you need to go. Like if you want to clap at somebody, you can. It's perfectly okay. It's not going to benefit you in any way, though. It's not going to bring value to anyone. It's only feeding the darkest side of yourself, which you really should be addressing through shadow work. That's another thing that has helped me greatly. Shadow work, journaling. I pay attention to moon phases. It's crazy. Anyway, but when it comes down to clients and how the self development is transferred over to my clients, a lot of my clients are actually kind of surprised when they hear me speak like this. When I talk about uh, energy, when I talk about how, I try to keep a high vibe, anything like that. Like vibrations are real, frequencies are real. So, I mean, there's our clients that I've actually came across, like they found my business and they love me. They love the humanality, like the human touch in my business. I'm very one-on-one. If you book me for a full detail, sometimes I will just book one detail for a day and tell someone I'm busy for the rest of the day so I can enjoy my life. The time freedom that we have is so abundant. And I see some guys that are very headstrong on I'm busting my A from this to this. And I'm like, well, you could raise your price, change your service area to places that can afford your services and wouldn't bat an eye and would think you're more professional because of the price. And you work less and you get to do what you love. Now you're doing what you love, not what you have to do. See, when you take have to, you put a low vibrational frequency in that I have to go do this. Not I get to go do this. I get to detail. I get to coach other people. I get to inspire people every day. I get to do these things. I don't have to do it. I don't see it as a task. I see it as something that is fulfilling. It's very fulfilling.
Yeah, it definitely brings us joy every morning coming in and just being, having a sense of gratitude every morning. Like, okay,
Practicing gratitude helps.
We're going to be together. We're going to be joking pretty much the entire day. We're going to kind of feed off of each other's energy. Obviously sometimes it's mentally exhausting, physically exhausting pretty much every day, but for the most part, when you have somebody there with you, that's, that you're feeding off of, like people you work out with, you
right.
go through that.
It'll push you a little bit.
Yeah. That little bit of
two more
together. It only builds the relationship and the camaraderie and the, teamwork. It elevates you. And for us, I think it's that's been really, really key. Is just the other day I found myself kind of, speaking on the more negative side, which I do very, very rarely. It felt bad. Like it literally felt bad. I was like, I feel horrible for even like, why did I do that? And it's so foreign to me now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, we're very observant. A lot of things we'll speak about objectively, but we're not passing any kind to it doesn't go any deeper than that. We're not
right.
It's just straightforward, just okay,
it's good to be able to express yourself still. Don't ever think you can't express yourself. It's about recognizing when you do it and then at least admitting when you're wrong.
Oh yeah.
It's that admittance of guilt that really changes the what happened into, okay, well, at least this person consciously understands what they did and I forgive them. That's really the biggest thing. One second, I gotta plug in my laptop. We're in there.
And I know you do a lot of coaching with a lot of guys. Are most of them detailers that are reaching out to you?
90%. I do have other people. I've had other people from like California, Florida, the UK. They reach out through the email and they'll ask me for advice in their business. They might not be in detailing, they might be in retail or something like that. They want to learn how to market themselves and things like that. So I've helped people for numerous things, not just like detail setups, other businesses outside of detailing, but offering the advice. I get these crazy ideas and downloads. I call them downloads in my head. When someone gives me their thoughts, I literally just get a bunch of flooding thoughts that come into my head. And I'm like, yes, okay, well, you can do this, or this way, or that way, or that way, or that way. Or you could show up like this, or you could take it here. And I just kind of, wherever I take it, wherever they light up, they're like, oh, that's it. That's what they're passionate about. I build off of that.
So we do consulting as well, and it's the same thing for us. It's the same, and I do think it's a certain. It does take a certain type of mind to
Yes.
to understand and come up with. We come up with options constantly. Just
Yeah.
whether it's with our business, with other people's business, it's just there's a constant brainstorm and think tank that's going on. Just on a daily basis. So it does make it easier for us to give suggestions or any kind of advice, things like that. Whether it's any type of industry. So it's a very valuable tool to have. And it's a gift to be able to help somebody that's struggling in their business, because there's a lot of times where people are on their last leg and they're just like, I'm this close to giving up on my dream, or I'm this close to giving up on something I've been working at for 10 years and it just hasn't gotten there. And maybe they're just doing they just need to tweak something a tiny bit or look at it from a different angle or do something a little bit, out of unorthodox that maybe they weren't doing, or something that's not, standard in the industry that they're in, to kind of take off and be successful. But it's just refreshing to see people doing it from a different perspective.
Right.
Not everything is cookie cutter. Not everything is, not everybody learns the same way. Not everybody can go to a workshop and get a pamphlet and read through and understand exactly what's trying to be, what's trying to be communicated to you. And, you hear a lot of these things. We talk about it constantly where people are, have these, not seminars, but they'll kind of have trainings like, okay, well, this is what you need to do. And they tell you what you need to do, but they don't show you in any way how to do it.
In the Marine Corps,
what does that look like?
In the Marine Corps, they call that death by PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people can't learn that way.
Yeah.
Like if you have my opinion, you should not have, and this is my opinion, and I'm not judging anybody. I don't even look at any of the trainings. I don't look at pictures. I don't look at videos. I just know that some rooms are filled with chairs. No one should be sitting down. That's my personal belief. I mean, you should be able to sit down, but you shouldn't be sitting down at a training. Like there should be panels, there should be pads, there should be products, there should be instructors, and there should be proficient work getting done to shape the mind. A lot of people are kinetic learners. We're not. A lot of us are neurodivergent. We're not neurotypicals. And we have to be hands-on. If you sit me down, I'm gonna fall asleep. I'll fall asleep. And that's not like, it's like, even I'm gonna say day one Shine Doctors class, like they did a little PowerPoint and it was like maybe 45 minutes. It was very brief, 30, 45 minutes. And I started getting a little tired.
Yeah.
But after that, chairs were cleared, panels were out, busting down panels, learning wet sanding, people helping you on your technique, how to hold the block, where to put the paper, how to get the edges, like how to tilt the rotary and not hit other things. Like man, the training that I went to was just so beneficial that like when I see chairs, I cry low key inside. So like when the instruction I got was so damn good. Like I haven't ever been not confident doing anything. And like that's the confidence I try to push in everyone else. Like, go ahead, pick up a rotary, do your thing, do it on a panel, buy it from a junkyard, do a test spot, whatever you got to do it on a friend's car, whatever. It's gonna look better than what it does now. He takes it to the car wash, So, yeah, I just think we're all kinetic learners at the end of it.
What advice would you have, Brad, for maybe somebody starting a new business? Because we get this question, I'm sure you get it all the time.
Oh, I got you.
How would you, because people, they assume they have to have all this fancy equipment,
Hmm.
what would you tell somebody, say someone that just wants to start, and they're just like, hey, I want to be, I'm passionate about this.
Hmm.
What's going to give me the best chance of starting a career out of this?
You need passion and $500 will get you where you need to go, because that's going to get you your equipment. That's going to get you your products. That's going to get you gas to get you where you need to go. I'm assuming you already have a vehicle since you want to be a mobile detailer. And client water and power is free, and they don't care if you use it. And the only reason why you care if you use it is because other detailers care if you use it, because
Yeah.
you are not like them. And that doesn't matter. No one cares. It's all subjective. It's an opinion. And I spoke on ego earlier. That's their ego. So it's like, come on. Like, at the end of the day, we all start somewhere. I started off using client water and power. Like, I didn't start off with a generator.
We
I didn't
still
start
use
with
it.
a water tank. Yeah, you can still use it. I have clients offer it to me. I'm like, well, your water is a little different than mine, man. You know what I mean? Like, I can't.
We take it. We
We
take
create
it
more
whenever
work.
we can. We take water and power whenever we can. Whenever.
But now in today's market, I mean, if you can save money on your generator running,
Oh yeah.
do it. I don't see why your clients literally want to take care of you the way you're taking care of them. It's like you're blocking the small blessing because of an egotistical belief, like a full belief. I must run my generator. Like when detailers tell me, well, I have my generator, but I got my extension cord and my polisher. I said, you're running your generator with a polisher on? Like, you're crazy. I couldn't imagine doing a paint correction with my generator running in the background, knowing that I'm gonna have to refill it by the time I'm done with this car. Like, no, absolutely not. Plug into the wall. They're offering it, and it's not going to run the bill through the roof.
We have a whole video where we talk about that, and that was one of the points, on how to save money. A lot of small things there, and it's like, and that was the number one. I was like, if you really want to save money, I was like, gas prices are crazy right now. I was like, a lot of you guys are running with 100-gallon tanks, 80-gallon tank. We run with a 35-gallon tank. We have a small.
Right. Slow down.
Yeah, but there's guys, out there with 100 gallons, 80 gallons, and we say, well, you want to save money now, right now, you don't fill your tank up all the way to save on gas, or use it, fill it up very minimal, or don't fill it up at all and use all of your, if you have a week booked out of just maintenance details, and these are people you see monthly, just go hook up their water. If the weather's right, and you don't have to worry about the hard water, or if you have a deionizer, get some RV filters, whatever you want, whatever you can do, save yourself some money this month.
It's a good idea. No, it's like something to practice, even if it's not permanent, temporarily, just squeeze as much as you can out of your business. Yeah. That's all it's about. And
we actually have our setup to where, because we're trying to think extremely unorthodox as far as setup efficiency.
Dude, I've had a guy that I know, his name is Josh. He's in California, the Bay Area, and he is the craziest dude ever. He looks like the guy from Hitman. He looks like Agent 47. Big guy, tattoos. He put an entire detail setup in a 30-gallon tote. Yes, fully mobile out of a 30-gallon tote. He just created it. Like, he put holes, drilled it, took it apart. Yeah, you could do anything.
These things, like they say they're unorthodox, but I don't like calling it that. They're just stuff that makes sense for us.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes sense to us.
Yeah.
It helps us be efficient, helps us get the job done. Who cares?
Yeah. Like, that's one of our big things is we like whatever you got to do, like whatever you got to do to get the job done. It doesn't really matter what stage you are,
No one's judging you.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have internal dialogue of other people that we think they're judging us. We think they're watching us. We think, like, that's why I tell detailers, like, when you're wiping down an interior, like, you don't have to wipe all, like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to look perfect before you get out. And then when you go dress it, it's perfect and ready for dressing. Like there's going to be dust. There's going to be little tiny little things there. Don't worry about those little things. You're going to finalize the product. It's not going to be there when you're done. So don't try to worry about like, oh man, dust from the ground got in the cup holder. What am I going to do? Like you don't have to wipe it. And your client's not going to run out and be like, oh, look at you, you lazy bastard. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like no one, you know, no, you're not. It's not going to happen. No one's looking at you. No one's like literally on you. That's actually called a social phobia. If anyone has a voice in their head that makes you think someone's watching you, it's social phobia. It's a real thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of odd, I would say just repetitive behavior just based on, the standard thinking or the standard way of doing
Yeah, break that mold.
correctly. Yeah, and I've been breaking them since I've started. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense. Why am I going to do that? It makes absolutely no sense. So
Yeah.
we'll go and throughout that, we've saved so much time and so much money because it's kind of like we've stepped into these uncharted territories of creativity when it comes to detailing. I have a background in art, so liberal arts school, so everything was completely. They were like, you think on your own. It's just a whole different school of thinking. So when you apply that to normal everyday things, you have this, this crazy amount of creative energy that you're just kind of constantly thinking of improvement, efficiency, saving money here and there, anything that's going to help generate a better, faster, higher quality result. We've basically altered everything. I was working on my Subaru Baja, and I had a nice clean setup, and that's a small little car, and people are like, I remember going to the detail, to the detail shops and, buying my equipment, and people, with their vans and stuff, like, oh yeah, they would see my stuff, like, oh, how's it going? People I didn't know. And then they would just be like, oh, you, where's your setup? And I'm like, oh, I detail out of my Baja. And they're like, oh, you detail out of that? And it was just kind of like, that was the first time where I was just kind of like,
See a little bit of hate.
yeah, I was like, okay, there's that type of energy. Like, I thought this was like a very like grassroots type of like, kind of supportive community, kind of like the way I see, other communities, like, maybe like landscaping, where when you're in an industry, you would think that people would be more supportive of no matter what you're doing.
If anything, they think it's cool because you're at least doing it.
Yeah.
And they know it's like to start.
Oh yeah.
It's like they act like they never started before. They're just got.
Yeah. And I chose to stay working out of my Baja until I was able to pay for my van cash. And I wanted to make sure that I
You want an overhead.
Yeah, exactly. So
That's genius.
everything was strategic, in the development stages of the of the actual detailing itself. Even the training, like even the customer, like I didn't go and throw ads out there. Everything was organically grown in the business. So everything kind of fell into place perfectly. So it wasn't like I was trying to go and get these crazy tools that were above my skill level or do things that was out of my expertise. I took everything really slow, and I really respected everything I was doing, and the clientele, and everything, all aspects of the learning. I really soaked it in. I didn't take it. I didn't take any of it for granted. But it also helped me in the developmental stages of my actual vehicle and my and what works for me, and what worked for me then, and what works for me now. So right now we're running even with a hybrid system, as far as we're able to hook up and link wherever there's a water line with deionized water, or we can just, everything's on quick releases, or we can go directly into our water tank. So there's literally, there's infinite possibilities with this van that we have and this setup that we have. So it's, when people are, kind of talk about, oh, I don't like using clients' water, this, that, I don't feel professional. It's like, well, that's just you. That has nothing to do with.
Feelings aren't facts.
Yeah.
I love saying that.
Yeah, I was like, it has nothing to do with the client's perception of you. It has nothing to do with anything else. This is simply you. This is what you believe.
That ego has a lot of wins under its belt.
Yeah, it'll fight too. It'll fight to stay around.
Oh yeah,
It'll,
I
yeah.
see guys overspending with stuff, and that's, back to, somebody who's starting out. I feel like there's a lot of misinformation out there for guys starting out in,
Yeah.
any kind of business,
Yeah, influencer marketing, people will say this product works one week and now this is the best product the next week. So, that's why I don't really post the products I use, because it's simple, super clean, super clean, simple green, Jack's Wax. Like, I just did it, you know what I mean? I know other stuff works. But it's like, why would I go outside of this budget? And I'm very comfortable with spending on products.
Yeah. And if you understand, a lot of the times I tell detailers, I say, look, I was like, it doesn't matter what you're using, just have a good understanding of what you're using. Once you have a good understanding, you can manipulate it. You can use it so many different ways, and you have a good understanding of what you're doing and what it's capable of doing. And you could use it for multiple applications. You could use simple green on carpets. You could use simple green on door panels. You could, same thing with super clean.
And everything needs crazy.
But if you use it with the white Scotch pad, you can get even more.
Right.
If you use it with a microfiber, there's different variances there. There's so many variables that come along with these very, very standard chemicals that you can get anywhere. And people, they kind of take it to a whole nother level. We use certain products based on. I really picked the product line that I hold dear to my heart based on the values of the company itself. We're from Oakland, our business, so the PNS is out of Hayward. It's a family company. They're still family owned, and the products are not super harsh on me. When I first started, I was using chemicals that were working great, but I just knew they were not doing any favors for my lungs, for my face.
Yeah, speaking of that, do you guys know what kind of vapors come off of ceramic coatings? Organic vapors. Organic vapors, when inhaled, scar our lung tissue. This is why I pressure so many detailers to wear like a proper respirator when doing ceramic coatings. And then when those scar tissues, those lesions, they can't be removed. Like, they stay there. So it mimics silicosis because you're working with a silica-based product, like SiO2 specifically.
It's crazy how people are not, I see detailers out there with no gloves.
They're wild. I did it for a little bit, but that's because there were none. And I wasn't about to pay $60 for a box. I was like, yeah, nice try.
Yeah, crazy. You're crazy. Yeah. I'll be out there with the yellow dish gloves.
Yeah, anything, whatever, to the wrist. They always to the elbow.
Yeah. And I did it at the beginning as well. Like, I wasn't, when I first started, I wasn't wearing gloves, and but over time it's like you realize, okay, I'm around. And I was wearing masks before COVID and everything because the chemicals were so harsh that I was using.
Yeah, you wind mist and be coughing real quick.
Oh yeah. I was like, I can't, especially on a hot rim or something, you get those, it evaporates. I get on.
It's over. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So yeah, we've that's another part of of the just being aware of what you're exposing yourself to and what you're getting into prior to starting the business. I think is really important because people don't realize that, yes, we are messing with chemistry. We are exposing ourselves to some
hazardous
materials.
Chemicals. They're chemicals.
Yeah.
That's a good effect. We don't know it yet. We don't know some of the effects that these products may have long term.
Oh yeah. So they could be outlawed tomorrow. Iron remover could be outlawed, next year. And like, oh, okay, well, it's causing all this. And
I think something might come because something might get laid down only because of the bright, crazy colored products that are being released for soap and stuff. Like, I feel like if that stays behind at all, or stains someone's driveway, or they're in an office parking lot and some doctor's like, why is the ground purple? Like
Yeah.
anything, like it's gonna cause like they're gonna put like doctors know people too, and they put things in legislation for just to mess with us because they don't like something. So
Well, we're in California, so
hey,
yeah,
you're
we know all about, yeah. Yeah, they
like,
change
we're
stuff
turning you
on
off,
us.
buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's but yeah, so as far as business, how's business for you? How long has the detailing business, how long have you been in it, and how long have you been growing, and what is your plan for the future?
Woo. Okay, so I've been thriving for 6 strong years. I started in Oahu. I was putting $150 for in and out details on Groupon, $50 off, $50 goes to Groupon, $50 went to me. I was doing sand removal, I was doing crazy stuff. I was there for 2 years, moved my business back home to Ohio. I was in Ohio for 2 years, and now I've been in Vegas for 2 years. And truthfully, I wish I didn't stay in Ohio so long because like the winter months really kill your vibe. You can't really do much. Like I remember washing a Jeep and the water was freezing as it was drying. So like anyway, it's just like from those all the places I've been, Oahu, Ohio, now Vegas, like I feel like detailers everywhere kind of have different ups and downs that they have to go against. So, but through all that, um, where I see myself in the future is mentoring detailers. That's what's been taking up most of my time lately. I still full service. I still go do details every day, but primarily I've been helping people online, showing up every single day, and that's really what I enjoy doing. It's like there's something about it. I don't know what it is. It's just seeing someone else get lit up and having that energy. It's like a transfer of energy from me, my little idea, compounding on their already passion, and they take that mountain of energy and it pushes them to this next pinnacle, and that's in life. So it's like it lights them up for life, and that's something you can't take away from anybody.
Oh yeah, it'll change
So
the
that's
being,
I'm kind of creating energy the rest of my life within other people.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you. That's, that's it's very that's a very rewarding place to be when you see
Mhm.
the change in people, and you see the development, and you see them really thriving, especially when you know the background story, or you know
Mhm.
what's going on or what they've overcame. It's extreme. We keep in very close touch with a lot of the guys that with almost all of them actually, that
Right.
we've helped throughout their journey. And some of them were just starting, some of them were about to quit, some of them are looking to expand or to grow, and they just don't have the mentorship, or they just don't have the business acumen, or they don't have experience in
Mhm.
areas of business to where they feel comfortable enough doing it on their own. So they'll reach out or just ask questions here or there, or maybe they'll just jump into our live feeds here and there, and
Right.
we just build a relationship through there. And one of the guys that's been following us for months just as first detail. So everybody, when he jumps on the live feeds, everybody's just like, hey, how did it go? They're talking
Right.
in there.
Mhm.
It's just this crazy amount of support and love that's just, most
Not seen.
yeah, most of the people are not
Private.
like
Private love.
yeah. And you know if we're being open and honest, a lot of people don't have that type of support in their home environment, especially when you're trying to start something which other people don't agree with. Maybe they feel like you're taking too big of a risk, or you're not going to succeed, or maybe they're just looking after your well-being, and they're not being, they're kind of just doubting it, but they want you to kind of have something in their mind that's a little bit more stable, or something that's a little bit more kind of on the 9 to 5 spectrum. So it's nice to be able to provide that for some people that don't have it. Like
Right.
it's so rewarding, and it brings people together. People and
And they talk and they follow each other back, and then
oh
they
yeah,
talk more, and then they bounce each other's ideas off each other. Like I see all people like all I've been going live every day at 6 for the past 3 or 4 days, and I've never seen so many people connect. or get lit up that I'm alive every day at 6. Like they're like, you do it? Yo, man, I've noticed every day at this time, like you're on. I'm like, yeah, I do this every day now. Like I just do it. I don't want to force myself. I'll look at the clock. I'll be like, oh, it's 5:50. I gotta get ready. Like, like just to be there. I don't care who shows up. I don't care how many people show up. Like it could be 5 people. You're gonna get what I have to say. You know what I mean? You're gonna love it too. Like so.
I'm on there whenever I'm off of work or I see you, I'm always jumping on and taking some gems away. It's taking some.
I try to drop some.
It might just be, there was a day you were out there, it was already getting dark and you're like, yeah, I'm just, getting everything ready for tomorrow, this and that. I'm like, okay, well, it's just nice to see somebody out there really putting in the same effort that I am and
right.
what it does take to do this,
It's kind of like seeing someone else do their homework in class.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, he's a cool kid. He's doing his homework too. He does his homework too. He doesn't have anyone else doing his homework for him. Like, no, I'm out there. I got to do this shit too. Like we all got to do the same. We got to wash towels. We got to fill bottles.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes we show up, we're a little bit late for the appointment and we still got to fill bottles because we neglected to do it the day before. Like we all do that. We all do the same stuff. We all put our pants on the same way. Like
life. It happens. It happens all the same, just different times.
Yeah.
I love you guys. I get a lot of Jay vibes from you and Silent Bob vibes from you. You speak up, Sal, but when you do, it counts.
Hey, brother, man, I just sent back, man. Your energy, your positive vibe. I just been soaking.
All right.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure's all mine, brother. I appreciate you. I'm late to the party. He's been telling me about you, but I just recently started watching. You got a man. So I look forward to those live feeds, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll be on every day.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to have you on here. So because the more communities and the more because every detailer that has some sort of following here or there,
mm-hmm.
I want to just connect them because there's so much.
There's a lot of us.
Yeah, we can.
I find them here and there. People will send me their stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get sent people stuff all the time.
Yeah, there's just so much talent and so much creativity that's within all of us individually.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much we can do in this industry, and there's things that I want to do. I want to do, I want to get things, in the near future to where we're doing, charity events for things that we really believe in, and have these, no matter where it's at. Like, hey, we'll go out to Vegas for a day or two and do this for this cause and such, or we'll do this, or maybe there's, some sort of, convention or something. Hey, let's all meet up and let's just.
Yes. I've been like how SEMA's out here. I've been wanting to do like a trash pickup because Vegas is so dirty. Like I'm not even playing. But who wants to come to Vegas their first time and pick up trash? You know what I mean? A lot of people coming to SEMA, it's like their first time in Vegas sometimes. Like they don't want to pick up trash. And like I've never told anyone this idea. This is the first time like exposing it to like a podcast, public, whatever. I talk about Legion, but like all wear the same shirt, type of deal. You get the shirt, you come help. There's gonna be video, camera, pictures, stuff like that. Just so we can showcase the businesses that showed up in Vegas and still help do their part by making it a better place before they left. Because I know a lot of people visit the city, trash the city, and then leave the city. Even though I'm not from here. I still think it's cool to pick up. Like I have a video of me picking up at the water place. Like Jan just started filming me. I didn't tell her to film me. Like I was just picking up trash. I was like the birds. Like it's weird. Okay, I have weird things with nature. You can call it weird tree hugging stuff. But check it out. When I get water, any water that spills on the ground, if I'm at the place with the blue hose, birds come and drink that water. So a lot of people are in my comments and like wasting water. Like no, birds come and drink that water because where are they going to find clean water at? Anyway, they love it. I pick up the trash from that area too for them. Like, just love everywhere that you go. Enjoy it. Like, because that's a space you're going to always pull up to. Somebody's going to be doing that act of kindness and they're going to want to mimic it, or they're going to tell someone about it and that person's going to mimic it, or that'll never happen. You just hope that you make an impact,
Yeah. So that's why we like you, because you make these conscious decisions to make the choices the right way. You're not just thinking about yourself. You're not just thinking about the time being. You're thinking about the next person. You're thinking of
Overthinking.
the effect that you're making on wherever you're at. You know, whether it's this call, whether you're filling up water, whether you're picking up trash, whether you're walking down the street and you're in somebody's way and you walk onto the street so somebody can use the sidewalk, whatever.
Right.
I like to be associated with people that are, that just make those type of decisions, that are just good people, because
Yeah, like-mindedness.
people that are not.
Yeah, we want to be around our tribe. That's why sometimes you'll see your ideas clash with people you thought were your friend. They're still your friend, but they might have like a toxic system going on in their programming and how they operate. So it's like that, I mean, and that's another thing, like I'll give advice on friendship. I've had friends that I've known since they were 9 years old. And I recently had to just not have them people as friends in my life. And that's, you see character traits that you just know. Sometimes, people, they have to work through some things. And we are not here to save everybody on this journey. We're here to enjoy life as an experience as a whole. And we can't save everybody. Some people come down here for different lessons. I'm not here to learn those lessons with these people. So I separate myself from that negative energy. So always separate yourself, put yourself in a better position.
Oh yeah.
Hey man, next time we do the podcast, next time we do this, I just want to point down. I want to point down to your book. I want you to have a book. Put that in your goal, man. If you had a book, I would read it.
Okay, for sure. No, I'll take that into consideration. It's like I've always talked about writing a book. I don't know what about, but just whatever I've been up to, I guess, in life. Just a little story. But I've picked up a lot from the mentors that I've had online. Oddly enough, I've met a few of them, and just I haven't looked back. Everything's went up. I cut out a lot of toxic beliefs, a lot of toxic traits, and once you do that, you'll see other people's toxicity, and you won't want to be around it. And you'll find people that feed your energy and don't take. And those are the people that are going to get you where you want to be.
Well, I think we'll wrap it up now, but I think you just basically said the reason why I think you just, on that conclusion, you just let us know why you're here, why we want you here, because that's exactly it.
Thank you.
We want,
thank you guys.
We want our community foundation to be based on is these morals and these ethics and basic fundamentals of just life experience and positivity and wellness, looking out for one another, and just being just finding that place of happy and understanding in compromise within one another, and just to help people, and it's been a pleasure. And is there anything else you'd like to add, Brad, before we take off?
On the other side of fear is success. That's it. Every time you have a fear come up, just know that if you go through that fear, the other side of that is going to be the answer. We're either going to know you like what you just made that decision on, or you're going to redirect and find your answer.
All right. Well, thank you, Brad. Again, Brad, BWA Detailing, Las Vegas. Great guy and an amazing detailer. And if you want to follow him, you want to let them know where they can follow you again?
At BWA Detailing on all platforms.
All platforms. Except for he doesn't tweet.
I don't tweet. I should tweet. I have a Twitter, but I haven't logged into it in a long time.
All right. Well, thank you, Brad. We're going to wrap this up, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
So stay on. We're gonna just stop the recording.
Yeah, no worries. I'm gonna shake my drink now. I've been trying to stir my matcha. I didn't want to disrupt the podcast. I was like, oh man, they're gonna hear ice chingling. I'm gonna trigger somebody to get mad.
Is that the straight matcha or the pineapple one?
Just regular matcha.